Welcome back to First Take Math with Brian. We're going to continue on with this factoring the trinomials at this level 2. Again, a little bit more difficult because we're making this first term, the quadratic term, we're putting a number in front of there. So when we have this ax squared plus bx plus c, we're making that a greater than 1. So this makes the problem more challenging. But a way around that is, what I like is this X factor strategy that I've discovered on the internet. There's several versions of it out there, but we'll see if we can get this to work for us today. So to model the X factor strategy, again, step 1, we start with the front and the back. So the coefficient of the x squared and the constant, we multiply those together to get our first move. So step 1, that negative 18 is going to drop in right there. Step 2, we now focus on this 3. We're going to drop it into the problem underneath the negative 18. Our step 3 is we're now going to use these two pieces to do our mama strategy, multiply and add. So the negative 18 is my first focus, and I got to add to get that 3. So the factors of a negative 18, again, we're just going to focus on without the sign. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, there's my 6. That's all my factors of 18. Now to get a negative 18, we know one of these has got to be negative, but which one? That's where you got to actually turn your attention to this 3. Since it's positive, we know if you add, to get a positive answer, the bigger number's got to be positive. So that means these guys have to be negative. So the left side's got to be negative there. Now if we add, we have to get this 3. And I do see that this negative 3 plus 6, that does give me a positive 3. So that's my winner. So step 3, we put that negative 3 and this 6 here and here. Step 4, we now turn our attention to this 2. That becomes our step 4. We're going to slide that 2 underneath the negative 3, and we're going to slide a 2 underneath this 6. And we also got to simplify these fractions. That's where it gets a little tricky. Again, your calculator can reduce fractions if you need to, but that one does not reduce. 6 over 2 does reduce, but don't forget, we want this to be a fraction still, so put that over 1 still, 3 over 1. Because we can't divide 2 into 2 and get a 1. 2 does go into 6 3 times. Leave that as 3 over 1. That allows us to create our factorization. Again, our letter is n this time. And remember, we kind of go from bottom to top. So if the 4 goes in front of my n, my minus 3. And then I go 1 to the 3, so 1n, or n, plus 3 would be my factorization. Again, we can multiply that out with the rectangle model and check that. My last one, I'm going to kind of try to do this without all the directions. So again, step 1, what do we want to do? To factor this, first and last term, we multiply the 3 to the 4. We get our 12. Next move is the negative 8 slides down. Next move is the 12 and the negative 8 become our main focus. So we have a positive 12 and a negative 8. We have to factor the 12 down into its factors. What multiplies to give me a 12? Well, 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. But I got to get a negative 8. But this has got to be a positive 12. What that's telling me is both signs have to be negative. So we know a negative times negative is a positive 12. Negative 2 times negative 6 is also a positive 12. I'm looking to add to get a negative 8, and we do see that this negative 2 and a negative 6 does indeed give me my negative 8. So that's my winner. So that finishes up with step 3. Step 3 goes into these two spots. So I have my negative 3 and my negative 4. My final move is to drop the 3 into the problem. So divide this by 3, divide this by 3. Again, this is going to reduce to a negative 1 over a 1. And that does not reduce. So, my factorization is going to be then bottom to top, my variables in. So 1n or n minus 1. So 1n minus 1. And then 3n minus 4 would be our factorization. So, if you take all the road maps out of it, it actually cleans up nicely. So hopefully that will help you with factoring trinomials with a number in front of that x squared or n squared. Stay tuned.